There are certain brands that true audio fans truly do admire. And when it comes to Infinity, this is one of those brands that have stood the test of time and is renowned to have incredible sound quality and value. Well, today on CMA Connected, we're going to be covering Infinity in the car audio lineup with product expert Leigh Powell, and we're going to break it all down for you. This is CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM Infinity, and it starts now. Welcome, everybody, to another CMA Connected brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu, and we've come across another iconic brand, one that is recognized and beloved by many audio enthusiasts across the globe, and that is, of course, Infinity. When you hear things like KAPPA or reference, these are all terms and names that come to play when it comes to the rich heritage that this brand has. Now, when it comes to car audio, they've got quite the offering as well that checks off quite a few categories, and we've got Leigh Powell in the studio with us to break it all down. Now, Leigh, what are we going to be covering on today's session?
Hey, Ben, we're going to talk about some KAPPA and reference, Primus, some subwoofer solutions, and how all of these products will fit right into your business.
All right, we're going to be getting into the entire Infinity lineup, but first, a quick message from our partner, SiriusXM, reminding you dealers out there why you love it. And when we come back, me, Leigh, and Infinity.
Hey guys, Ricky Lima here from SiriusXM. I had a chance to speak to some dealers and ask them what they love about selling SiriusXM. Here's what they had to say.
Coast-to-coast coverage.
I love SiriusXM for commercial-free music.
It's a great add-on sale and a profit opportunity.
We love selling SiriusXM because you can listen to the same channel coast to coast.
Profitability and ease of installation. It's a no-brainer.
We love selling SiriusXM for its ease of installation, great profitability, and reliability.
People love it.
All right, welcome back. We're going to get right into it now, Leigh. When it comes to Infinity, I really think that everybody expects it, so we're going to give it to them. We're going to start with the speaker category, and in the speaker category, right at the top, we're going to talk about KAPPA.
All right, let's talk about KAPPA speakers. Customers shop with their eyes. If it looks pretty, they're drawn to it. Perception of value is extremely important in this industry. So Harman is a cosmetic company first before we start getting into the audio part of it. KAPPA is an iconic brand that's been around forever. And most people know the KAPPA line, always thought of as a premier brand. So we have all the sizes from a 4-inch up to a 6x9 component. What I'm holding in my hand is the 6.5 coaxials. We do ratcheting tweeters where they ratchet into place. We do tweeter attenuators on the front of the tweeter so you can do it flat or negative 3 dB if it's too bright. Technology Harman has is a patent for Harman. It's called +1. We take our surround all the way out to the edge of the frame, which gives you a larger cone for more bass response and a little bit more power handling. And the greatest thing about these is they're 2.5 ohm. So what does that mean? You can put your amplifiers in dynamic mode at 2 ohms. You can replace your 2 ohm factory system speakers out there because they're super efficient. One of the greatest benefits on the components, which I wanted to show you, is we make a 2 3/4 dome mid. And the dome mid comes with your Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, GM, Toyota bracket that fits right in the dash. Along with that is a bandpass crossover in the box with the mid. It has a pigtail that plugs into the bandpass crossover. That bandpass crossover plugs into your 2-way component crossover, and they're now married together. And then all you do is flip a switch on the passive crossover from 2-way to 3-way, and now these reconfigure together to give you a 3-way component. So you don't have to stock a 3-way. You can have the mids separately because you can use these mids for different applications. And another thing I wanted to show you was the 4x6 plates. We're one of the few manufacturers that still offer a 4x6 plate. These things sound fantastic. And they have the tweeter attenuator built on the front. So the next time you need some great sounding 4x6s, consider the KAPPA 4x6 plates. Gorgeous tweeters with the rose gold. And the other thing I wanted to tell you about was the star mount. So from our OE division supplied us information to help you mount our tweeters in an OE location by having breakaway tabs and having these to be able to mount flush, so you can just insert our tweeters right into a factory OE locations. And they're all included with all of our components. So please consider some KAPPA products for your lineup. I'm sure you will do well with them.
Once again, certainly a very iconic name when it comes to loudspeakers, even into home audio. KAPPA by Infinity. Lots of applications there, and a really nice aesthetic to boot with some key technology features. Now, as we progress down the line, we're going to get to another series of speakers, which we call the Reference.
So let's talk about Reference. Like KAPPA, Reference has that long longevity on their name as well. A lot of people know Reference. Reference shares the same technology. +1 cones. The surround is out to the edge of the frame. We do edge-driven tweeters where the voice coil for the tweeters go all the way out to the edge of the frame, which gives you the tweeters play lower, which complements your driver. We supply the star mount in these as well as the KAPPAs. We have a full line of 3.5s all the way up to 6x9 components in the Reference line. Tweeter attenuators on your components are on your passive crossover, and then on your coaxials, which I don't have showing here, they're on the tweeter itself or your tweeter attenuator. Now, some exciting news for Reference is in 2024, the beginning of 2024, Reference is getting a complete overhaul. So they will be completely different, top to bottom, and I think you guys will be pleasantly pleased. So this is our mid-level for Infinity, and it's the workhorse for Infinity, and they sound phenomenal. So hopefully Reference will become part of your arsenal.
And lastly, Lee, let's talk about our great replacement option when it comes to OE replacement, packed with value, and I suspect technology, which you're going to share with us once again when it comes to the Primus series of speakers.
So as part of the good, better, best series that we have in speakers for Infinity, your goods come in with Primus. Now, Primus we don't consider our entry-level speaker. Primus holds its own. This is just a great speaker for a price point conscious customer. This is a great speaker for an OE replacement. Somebody's got a bad 6.5, 6x9. They're super efficient. They still carry all of the same technologies as Reference and KAPPA. They have the +1 cones where the surround is taken all the way out to the edge of the frame. They still have the true 4 ohm technology where they're 3.7 ohms. So when the voice coils are hot, they rest at 4 ohms. So you don't get the loss of volume when you're replacing OE speakers. It's a full line all the way from a 4-inch to the 6x9 components. New cosmetics this year. I wish I had a grill to show you that goes over some of the speakers, the 6.5 and the 6x9s are absolutely gorgeous, and they pop off your display because, again, perception of value, and people shop with their eyes. They really do. If it looks awesome, they're drawn to it, and then all you got to do is just play it. So consider Primus for this price point of speakers to your arsenal.
Well, that was a wrap up on the speaker offering when it comes to Infinity, but let's move on to the amplifiers. There's quite a few different models that help power these drivers, and we're going to cut right to the chase and start from the top with the Reference series of amplifiers.
Okay, let's talk about Reference amplifiers. So when we were asked, when the time came to redo Reference amplifiers, we took everything that you guys said that you wanted. You wanted all the controls on one side, or all the connections on one side. So we did that. You wanted the bass control knob in the box with the amplifiers. We did that. You asked us to have a sleek new design, and we think this cosmetically is awesome. You asked to have the controls covered up where the customers wouldn't be able to go in and make their own adjustments and retune their own vehicles. So we offered that solution. So we have a removable plate that has all your controls underneath. We do a 5-channel, which is 75 by 4, 500 by 1 on the sub side. We do a 600 or a 4-channel 75 by 4. We do a 600 watt mono block, and we do a 1,000 watt mono block. The neat thing about our amplifiers, 15 volts of input. They love it. And our high level input for our amplifiers, we supply you with a bare wire to RCA adapter to do your high level input. We don't have a separate plug for a pigtail. One of the other nice things we have on the 4-channel and the 5-channel is you have a low input, a high input, and you have load sensing. So for all you guys needing load sensing for resistance on a line to get a signal from a head unit, it's built into the amplifier. But maybe not every single car out there is covered. You may still have to use a resistor from time to time, but the majority of them are in there. So when you flip it into H2 mode, it'll automatically start reading the resistance and give you that signal that you need to get the amplifier up and running. Dynamite amplifiers. The 1,000 watt amplifier is strappable. So you have a primary and a secondary. So you set your primary amp up, you set your secondary amp up, and then once you flip the switch, it sends the data from the first amp to the second amp, because the second amp becomes a dummy amp. And so all your adjustments that you do on your primary amp will carry over to your secondary amp, and you don't have to worry about trying to tune 2 amplifiers. These are just fantastic amps that are in stock now. Hopefully you guys will take a look, bring them in, make them part of your arsenal.
As we follow the pattern as with the nomenclature with the speakers, we're also going to find the same in the amplifiers as we now shift over to the Primus line, which I would only assume would have nice, small, compact footprints, a great price point, and some good aesthetics to boot.
So let's talk about Primus amplifiers. Primus amplifiers are a price point driven amplifier. They're designed to hit that one particular customer who doesn't want to spend a whole lot of money, but he wants to have great quality and great sound. So we developed these Class D small footprint, 4-channel, 2-channel and mono block, 300 watt mono block amplifiers with the logos that you can turn depending on how you're going to set the amplifier up, which way it's going to face. They come in the box being separate. It has all of your crossovers built in. Strong amplifiers. The 300 watt mono block is, it'll run a single 12, single 10 just fine. But these are price point driven. They don't have the technologies that the club and then eventually the reference and eventually the KAPPA amplifier will have. But they are fantastic amps, and they do stay out there and opportunity to make a lot of money on these amps. So hopefully you will consider making these part of your arsenal.
So moving on from traditional amplifiers, we enter a new realm of amplifiers. And what I'm referring to are modern OEM integration, purposeful, small footprint, multi-channel, and DSP powered amplifiers. And Infinity has also got you covered in this very, very important category, which is emerging.
All right, let's talk about small footprint DSP amplifiers. So Infinity now has a DSP amplifier, the DSP 6840, which is 8-channel DSP amp, 40 by 8 or into 4 ohm and 60 by 8 into 2 ohm. It sums internally. The great thing about this amplifier is that it is your replace a factory BMW amplifier, replace a factory Mercedes waterlogged amplifier. Take an OE system and want to upgrade it a little bit, like a Tacoma or a Tundra, and add this amplifier, DSP the system, amplify the factory speakers, and watch what happens. They'll come to life. And add a subwoofer. It's got a dedicated sub out. But the neatest thing about this DSP amplifier is we listen. and we polled all of you guys about what you love and hate about every brand of DSP that's out there as far as software is concerned. And this software for this DSP and the smaller baby version of it, which is the 4-channel DSP, is absolutely the easiest software you will ever use as far as tuning the vehicle with DSP software. It's 31 band EQ, parametric and graphic EQs. It's got, you can copy channels over to the other. I mean, it's phenomenal. And you can download it on our website and play with it without even having one of the units connected. So consider the 8-channel DSP amplifier. And the last thing I'll tell you about that piece is that you wouldn't consider, use it as a line driver. So our reference amplifiers love 15 volts of input. High level out of your head unit, amplified signal going out to a bare wire to a RCA adapter, 15 volts in, no floor noise, no hiss. You got DSP added to your amplifiers and a line driver. Sounds fantastic. Got it out in the field now. So hopefully you'll consider these and make them part of your arsenal.
Now we're at the part of the show where we get to have some fun and talk about sub frequencies. Yes, subwoofers, because it's all about the bass. And with Infinity, again, got you covered with a couple different options, starting with the very, very iconic KAPPA series.
All right, let's talk subwoofers. So take a look at this KAPPA subwoofer that you're seeing on your screen right now. This thing is cosmetically gorgeous. There again, customers shop with their eyes first. But there's a lot of technology built into these subwoofers, which of one is the SSI technology. So this particular sub does have the 3 6-ohm voice coils built in with the selectable 2 or 4 ohm switch. So easy to sell 1, super easy to upgrade into 2, comes with the beauty ring carbon fiber cone, but it also utilizes the Aero cooling for the voice coil. Now this goes back to when we talk about all of Harman's departments collaborating with each other to share some of their technology. So as many concerts as y'all probably been to, and you look up and it's JBL speakers, you're like, well, how do they last so long? And they're there year after year after year. Well, that division uses what's called an Aero blade. And what it is, it's a twisted blade connected to the former at the base of the cone. And there's inlet holes around the spider. So as the cone moves, it sucks air in and blows air directly to the voice coil. And if you look on the bottom side of the sub, it's got air vents where the heat comes out. So instead of opening a basket to breathe, where the voice coil is exposed, it's forced air where it has to go straight to the voice coil. So that's another cool technology that's built into the KAPPA subs. And we have them in an 8, 10, and 12, and just an absolute fantastic, perfect price point, high grossing series of subwoofers.
Hard to argue there, Lee, that the aesthetics of that KAPPA series is not very attractive with the design of the basket, the cone, and everything in between. Obviously, very, very nicely done from a cosmetic standpoint, and I'm sure the sound will follow suit. Now, as we look down the range of subwoofers, we now arrive on reference series.
All right, let's dig into reference sub. So it was time for a reference change, and we wanted to really go a little bit crazy on the ID for reference because, again, we're shopping with our eyes, and we are a cosmetic company first. So we designed a brand new reference 10 and 12 that we feel is cosmetically gorgeous. So this is an all new cone, all new beauty ring with ridge edge on it. We inset the cone super deep. It does utilize the 2 and 4 ohm selectable impedance, 3 6-ohm voice coils, trim rings removable, rubber boot around the motor structure. These are shallower than our previous reference subs. They handle a lot more power. We stitched in the tinsel leads into the spider, and we added push terminals, which we did not have before. So we feel this is going to be a home run on the Infinity reference subline for its particular price point. So these will also be coming out in preloaded boxes, single 10, single 12, dual 10, dual 12s, with the slipstream ports. So keep your eye on these. They'll be shipping shortly. Hopefully we can make these part of your arsenal.
And lastly, to round out the subwoofer selection here with a third option, this is going to be that price point option, which does boast some pretty nice aesthetics, if I don't say so myself. Lee, tell us all about the Primus series of subwoofers.
So let's talk about Primus subwoofers. So you're seeing Primus on the screen right now, and probably the first thing you notice is it's pretty good looking. All the rose gold that's around it, it's an attractive subwoofer. Well, in Infinity, since Infinity is more, we consider an SQ line and not a heavy bass line, we decided in Primus, let's just keep it to one single 12 and make it 4 ohm. But we did make a enclosure for it, and it is set at 2 ohm, so it's a DVC. The Primus subs work fantastic in sealed enclosures, dual 10, single, or dual 12, single 12, but it is only a single 12. Not considered an entry level because we don't feel we're entry level, but that is our good line for subwoofers, and it fits a certain price point within your lineup, and fantastic quality. And we hope that you consider the Primus sub as part of your family and add it to your arsenal.
And to close out this session, Lee, we're going to get into what I feel Harman does an amazing job at, and that is big bass out of small enclosures. It's not everybody that can pull it off, but Infinity's got some really cool options in this category, starting with the BassLink SM2.
All right, so let's talk about big bass, small packages again. So the BassLink SM2 has #1 market share in the industry, and I've talked to a lot of you guys about, do you sell under the seat solutions? No, I've tried them all. I don't like them all. None of them work. None of them do what they're supposed to do. And you shy away from that business. Well, you shouldn't, especially with our products on the Infinity side. This piece, we took everybody else's. Of course, every manufacturer does that. And we test them and we see what works and doesn't work. And we try to figure out what the solution is to make these things work as they should. Now, it is a set expectations product. And it is a, what are you looking for? But this 8-inch amplified sub of ours sounds fantastic. It works. It comes with the bass control knob. And it has #1 market share worldwide. So just like the GT Bass Pro 12. So I would consider using this in this application. If you have this customer, bring it in and try it out, and hopefully it'll make a home in your arsenal.
And to close out the show, I think we've saved a unique little package, which I feel is very innovative. And apparently, according to what Lee has said, this will absolutely blow your mind, because your expectation of what your eyes see will not match what your ears will hear with the BassLink Mini.
All right, so let's talk about the BassLink Mini. We just talked about the BassLink SM, which is the 8-inch under the seat. Well, this is a high output 6x8 amplified under the seat solution that is full cast, that will absolutely blow your mind. Now you're back to the notion of, I don't do under seat solutions for cars because nothing sounds good and nothing works. But you did go out there and try every one of them to see if you could find one that worked for your business. Well, you got to give this one a shot, because the feed on this particular piece with this 6x8 high output has been phenomenal. This is for your coupes. This is for under your seat. This is for, in the very back, if you needed to, your trucks, that's looking for a little bit to bring up the bottom end. But again, set expectations. Don't over promise. It does everything it's supposed to do in this tiny little package. So hopefully you will bring this in and try the BassLink Mini and add it to your mix, and it becomes part of your arsenal.
That was Infinity's Leigh Powell joining us for giving us all the information that we need to get to you, the dealers, so you now understand what Infinity car audio is all about. Now, if you want more information or more details or specifications, I do encourage you to check out the official website found at infinityspeakers.com. And if you happen to be a Canadian dealer tuning in, then you need to know that all things Infinity in Canada are dealt with by Ericsson Consumer. My closing comments on this very iconic brand is simple. The aesthetics, check. Engineering, check. Brand recognition, absolute check as well. Infinity is one of those brands that have managed to continuously evolve and maintain relevant through all its different decades that it's been around. And the very fact that customers coming into your store will recognize things such as KAPPA and reference, that's already a leg up. And I believe that with the current offering that they have, they're providing a good, better, best scenario with some really high-end and technologically advanced features. This is a small, compact line that could easily find its way into your showroom that you could really benefit from and provide to your customers a brand that they will adore. That's it for this CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM with over 150 channels in your vehicle. Your Platinum Plan offer includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video on Demand. What you love is on now.